Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Born to be Adored. This isn't just a podcast, but it is a portal, a soft rebellion, and a sacred homecoming. It is a remembrance of the woman you were always meant to be before the world taught you to forget her. Here, we don't hustle to be loved, we don't shrink to be accepted. Here, we return to ourselves boldly, gently, and unapologetically. My name is Adeline. I'm your host for today. Today, in episode 2, I want to share the story of how I stopped trying to be lovable and became the woman who already is loved. But to understand how I got here, to this grounded softness, this quiet power, we have to go back. Back to the girl I had to rescue, the one who once whispered, "Is it safe to just be me and still be loved?" I didn't grow up feeling chosen. I grew up believing I had to earn love, that my body needed to be managed, my voice had to be softened, and my presence had to be small. My childhood wasn't chaotic. It was the kind of silence that teaches you how to disappear. My mother loved me deeply, but her love was shaped by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of men, and fear of what would happen if I were too bold, too loud, and too visible. She tried to protect me the only way she knew how, by scanning my outfits, by warning me to be careful, and also by teaching me that invisibility equals safety. And my father? He was physically there, but he was emotionally absent. He didn't hold me. He didn't say, "I'm proud of you." He provided, yes, but I craved his presence. And when I learned that my love languages are physical touch and affirmation, everything made sense. As a child, your parents are your universe, and when something feels missing, you don't blame them, but you blame yourself. So I began to believe there must be something wrong with me. Maybe if I was quieter, smaller, softer, I would finally be lovable. Outside, I was surrounded by women who had also learned to survive by shrinking, who wore fear like tradition, and who passed down silence like inheritance. I remember my aunt once said, "Lower your shirt, you are attracting men." Not out of malice, but fear. As if my body was a weapon, as if my visibility made me guilty. Even my mother's gaze didn't say, "You look beautiful," but it said, "Be careful." So I covered, I overthought, and I stayed small. Not out of modesty, but out of shame. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a goddess. I saw something broken. My skin erupted. My body rebelled. Not because I was flawed, but because my body was trying to protect me from a world I didn't feel safe in. I wasn't craving attention. I was craving safety. I just wanted someone to say, "You matter. You are safe. You are enough." But no one did. So I kept trying to become someone they would finally choose. Then there was another part of my story, a love story, but also a lesson in loss. You see, I didn't understand for the longest time why I kept falling so hard, why love always felt like a need, not a want for me, like air, something I couldn't live without. I was craving something I never fully received at home. I was chasing the kind of love I longed for from my father. He was there, but his love didn't feel warm. He didn't hold me when I cried. He didn't affirm me when I doubted. He didn't look at me and say, "You are special. You are safe. You are deeply loved." And because of that, I search for that feeling in boys, in their attention, in their affection, in the way they look at me like I mattered. So I kept falling again and again and again. Not because I was weak, but because I was starving. While my friends focused on school and exams, I was caught in heartbreak after heartbreak, looking for someone to tell me I was worth loving, that I was good enough. And every time it ended, I thought the same thing. There must be something wrong with me. But now, I see it differently. I wasn't broken. I was just looking for love in places that couldn't hold the weight of my heart. And then came him. I was a teenager when I fell in love again. He wasn't the first boy, but something about him felt like maybe this time it would finally be enough. And when I lost him, like I always did with others, it didn't just break my heart. It shattered the illusion I had clung to for years. That if I just became soft enough, sweet enough, pretty enough, quiet enough, maybe, just maybe, I would finally be loved unconditionally, completely, and safely. But when he walked away, he didn't just take our relationship with him. He took the version of me who believed that shrinking would keep me safe. His absence cracked open every wound I had buried, every rejection, every abandonment, and also every unanswered question. And finally, I had to face it. No matter how lovable I became, it would never be enough for the wrong heart. I begged him to stay. I begged the universe to fix it. I begged myself to be softer, smaller, and less me. But the more I erased myself to be loved, the more I disappeared. And in the silence that followed, the kind of silence that makes you hear your soul again, I realized I wasn't meant to get him back. I was meant to come back to me. That was the moment everything shifted, not in a loud dramatic way, but in the quiet remembering of something ancient in me. I stumbled upon something that changed how I saw everything. Not the law of attraction, not as and hope, but the law of assumption. Assume, embody, and also become. And then I heard the words, "The world is yourself," push out, and my heart stopped. Because suddenly, it all made sense. Every heartbreak, every abandonment, every moment I felt invisible wasn't life being cruel. It was just a mirror reflecting what I still believe about myself. I wasn't abandoned by the universe. I had abandoned myself. And when I began changing the story within, the world around me started to respond. Because the universe doesn't give you what you want, but it gives you what you believe you are. So I stopped waiting to feel adored. I started assuming I already was. I didn't wait to be chosen, but I became the woman who is the choice. But here's one thing. The deeper I returned to myself, the more something else rose to the surface. Guilt, not from God, but from people, from expectations, and from systems that were never built with someone like me in mind. I began to grieve the mold I could no longer fit into, the girl I was trained to be, the quiet one, the modest one, the agreeable one, the small one. I stopped dressing out of fear. I stopped doing rituals out of pressure. And I stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. And that made people uncomfortable. My parents cried. My relatives whispered. They said I was rebellious, too much, and lost. But I know I wasn't lost. I was finally coming home. Let me be clear here. I don't reject my roots. I don't dishonor my faith. And I carry my culture with love. But I will not betray my soul to belong. To me, sacred isn't fear. Sacred is freedom. It is presence. And it is knowing. The knowing that I am already enough, just as I am. I didn't find God in guilt, but I found God in my breath, in stillness, in the soft moments where I stopped apologizing for my existence and started to honor it. Now, I walk differently. I speak to myself with reverence. I dress like I adore my own reflection, and I love myself the way I used to back others do. Each morning, I would rise and remind myself, you don't need to earn your place. You already are the throne. I see myself now, and she is magnificent. I have returned to the little girl who once begged for love, and I hold her in my heart like royalty. Every single day I choose her. And that choice, that moment of loyalty to my own soul, that was my resurrection. This isn't a glow up. This is a rebirth. And this is divinity awakened in a woman who forgot her power but never lost it. I'm not broken. I'm blooming. I'm not too much. I'm just right for the life I was born to lead. And if someone cannot hold that, they're not meant to sit at my table. I no longer bend to be loved, but I rise to be me. So if you are listening right now and you have ever been called too much or made to feel like your softness is dangerous, if you have ever shrunk to be accepted, let this episode be your mirror. You are not broken, my love. You are blooming. You are not sinful. You are sacred. You were never meant to dim your light to feel safe. You were meant to rise, to reign, to be adored. And it all begins with the moment you say, I am chosen, I am whole, and I am home. Thank you so much for being here with me today. As always, if you have any comments or if you would like to share your story with me, contact me at Adlin1111 in TikTok.